Herbert Rosenbluth, Fire Controlman, second class. Okay, the meals were, I'm not a person for a very fancy meal. My mother was a pretty good cook, but she had a very limited range of things she made. So I did have things that I didn't have at home. And the food was good. I like beans, I like shit on a shingle, I like foreskins. We discussed that before, what foreskins were. Pork chops, I never had pork chops before that. The only exotic food I ever had before that was we used to go once in a great while, we'd go to a Chinese restaurant. And that was the only exotic food I had. But certain things I did. I liked, we used to have, I liked everything. I ate everything they had. There wasn't anything that I said, I can't eat that. And I got introduced to some food I never had. I like carrot and raisin salad. I have that all the time now. My wife makes that. I never had that before. Other things, I don't know, they were probably similar to what I had, but nothing outstanding. Well, when I first got in, we had two tests. I'm going to tell you that. We had the general classification test, and we had the mechanical aptitude test. I don't know how many people were in our group that went in this one group that took the test, but somebody said there were 500. I don't know whether there were that many. It was a pretty large group because we filled up a train. But I came out #1 in the group on the general classification and #2 on the general aptitude. So that probably determined, what we were going to get a choice of. Because I had some electrical experience, and I had put that down, they picked me fire control. And most of the guys that were picked for fire control were pretty much brighter than the lot. They were. I don't want to throw bouquets at myself, but we work smarter than the lot. And because there's a lot of electrical in connection with fire control. It has nothing to do with putting out fires. And so, that was the first thing that happened when we got the Great Lakes. And but all through boot camp, they didn't utilize any of our intellect. What they used to do was it snowed a lot at Great Lakes, and they, there was nothing to come around. They'd bang something, everybody up. We're going out to shovel snow, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And fortunately, I say it happened often, too often, but not, it wasn't something that you weren't out shoveling all the time. I don't want to give that false impression. But the food was fine. No quarrel with the food. The food in the Navy was, all through the Navy, I thought was good. I was a good eater. And I didn't gain weight. I went in, I weighed 150, I think, and I was more muscular. Now I weigh about 130, and I'm not any thinner than I was, but I don't have the muscle. Of course, muscle weighs more than fat, more than nothing. But some of the places, like when we went for gunnery practice, when I was in fire control school, we went to a place called Price's Neck. Now they have the same food, that the Navy issues all over, but this guy was like a gourmet cook. The food was that good. I remember that. When I was in San Diego at Advanced Fire Control School, the food, here again, the same food, but we had the guy in charge. He was a Commodore. They don't even have that rating anymore. But he was, that was like above a captain, but pretty high rating. And he was pretty strict about the way they cooked the food. He'd come around and he'd taste the food there, so they couldn't get away with it. And all the guys working there was a good deal because they weren't going out to sea or anything. So they did their job. They kept their job by cooking the food well. The equipment at both schools, the regular fire control school and advanced fire control, they had no equipment. So I deduced, nobody ever told me, but I deduced the only reason that we were going to these schools because they didn't have any ships. They didn't have enough ships for us. The Navy wanted to make sure they had plenty of personnel, so they were hiring, they were enrolling, not enrolling, but recruiting personnel, but they didn't have the ships, so they sent us to play. So they occupied us with a lot of mathematical work and things like that, but they didn't show us any equipment.